Mimighoul actually shatters all expectations out here, locking down a regional top 8 finish. Make sure you guys smash the living crap out of that subscribe button so you guys don't miss out on more awesome content. We have the Halifax top 8 regional breakdown for you here. And I want to preface this and I want to say this is a chaotic top cut. This really does showcase how toxic the current format is on the top end of things. You know, having 6 Snake-Eyes decks in your top end representation is really, really bad looking for the game right now. And we've had this over and over again. And to look at this and to think that this is okay is really, really crazy. I am happy to see, you know, the results of everybody trying to challenge the monsters in the room, but that's an entirely different story. You know, you're already fighting an uphill battle out here. So to already try to pressure out the competition and try to win is a crazy thing. Now, the competitors to try to challenge this format, one of them was the Ritual Beast player, which the Ritual Beast, if you are a very strong player and you know what you're doing with that deck seems to have a good, decent chance of doing things. And I'd like to thank Protos for kind of being that little floodgate that has been causing infinite issues out here for these duelists. Personally, I think that's a good thing. And our second challenger was actually one that kind of took me by surprise, and was actually Mimighoul. Honestly, I'm not surprised to see that Mimighoul can do things. You know, having access to Shifter and, you know, being able to set things and force your opponent into bad situations is what that deck wants to do. It's going to be a lot of winning some dice rolls and actually hoping that things actually go your way. And you know what? They actually did. We have a Mimighoul top 8 finish. Let's pass on over to deck list. Starting things off here, you thought things were crazy. Well, what happens when you have Snake-Eyes, but you decide to scrape down the entire package of Fiendsmith and go, nah, I just want to play one copy of the Engraver. Well, that's what you're actually getting out of this deck here, which is actually very, very interesting in my personal opinion. You know, scraping down that fat and just being able to, you know, get the 2 monsters into the basic combo down here and be able just to do everything that you need to do. No tracks needed, none of that extra fat. That's incredibly interesting to me that they were able to make those changes and be able to actually have that work out for them. I guess, hey, if you've already got the Snake-Eyes stuff, this just saves you a whole crap ton of money on your deck builds. You do see the Mulch Armies down here as well, the skill drains, and of course the Silhouette Rabbit with the Azarune that, you know, you pretty much were expecting a lot of these standard tech innovations to do their thing. Cool. Next up here, it's Protos and Friends. That's basically what this deck feels like to me, you know? You're relying on Protos to be that jamming floodgate to put that condition on your opponent so that your opponent obviously cannot play the game. If your opponent does get the chance to start engaging, well, that's kind of where our problems are going to lie. You do see here that you are playing things like the evenly matched so that you can have that going second chance to be able to play the game. Yeah, we have far learned that the right way. You also have the Book of Eclipse. Book of Eclipse's playability has been starting to rise over time, and I will say it has been very, very nice to see how much value Book of Eclipse has once again gotten returned back to the meta. But honestly, I think the going second Ritual Beast approach to things here, or, you know, go first, roll Protos, and do your absolute best. Shifter is an amazing card for getting things done. Good stuff. Next up here, we have, I see we're doing this again. Is this just going to be the standard approach from things going forth here? You don't have to dedicate all of the crazy slots to the Fiendsmith cards? Like, I like that. But now, you know, my next question is, you know, now that you've cut down on the Beatrice and all of this extra, you know, insanity that's kind of came with this, you know, is it necessarily worth it? I don't know. find that interesting. You have your crossouts in here. I do see that we are playing the Moonlit Show. We are also playing the Food Show in here. I actually like having the Food Show in this deck. Food Show, kind of bypasses the ignorance of getting blown out by everybody's residential, destruction machine called the Tempai Dragons. By the way, not a single Tempai in this top cut. So that's something for you to think about there when you're looking at this meta. Like, holy crap. Good stuff. Next up here, I love the very subtle changes. Hi. Once again, this Fiendsmith engraver is doing its thing. I see you're doing the Molcharmies. You have the deltas down here as well. Do with what you will with the knowledge of having the deltas present in the course of the format. I think that you kind of have to roll this card now. There are too many power spells right now in the game. The sad part is even if you cut this off or cut off the wanted, your opponent's probably still going to have something stupid to kind of blow you out with. So I guess that's kind of a major thing that I kind of hear a little bit is just, the clapback blowout that you could be experiencing from some of this stuff. But this extra deck, completely optimized now. I still find it very, very interesting to see that Beatrice has just been gutted out of the format. Like, you're not relying on that thing anymore, which, it was a good consistency piece for sure, but okay. I see you, meta. Ooh, we got 45 big ones. So, interestingly enough, we get back here to the regression on things here. You see we're back at the full Fiendsmith combo, and then you once again see that Lurie has re-entered back into the course of the format here, which I do like seeing, Lurie. I'm happy to see a Fabled monster doing something. I do find it really cute that this build is actually side decking the access code talker. You need to be able to make sure that, if you have to do the OTK or it's a matchup that, you're going to need the access code talker for, you can very easily bring it in. You do see that we are opting for the OTK pieces instead of trying to dedicate slots to like the access code talker. You do have the crossouts down here on the side, and of course this build is playing the Beatrice. So in terms of developments in the meta, that's very, very interesting to see. Okay, I'm just genuinely impressed by the Snake-Eyes numbers and how they are changing just right in front of us. Ooh, more Snake-Eyes. Hey, once again, how many lists has this been? They're just playing the one engraver at this point. Like, okay, sure. You know what? If my top cuts are starting to tell me on the regional level that the developments for this need to go towards this, then maybe we as players need to analyze this and understand why, you're making this very simple change to the mathematic ratios of things. One thing that does stick out cool to me down here is we are actually playing the double mind control. Being able to steal that opponent's monster and then proceed to effectively do whatever you need to do with it. Obviously, you've got your second monster, so now you can do your full one-card Fiendsmith combo that you're only playing one card for anyway. So, that's pretty incredible out here. Outside of that, once again, extra deck is incredibly stapled and figured out. These duelists have it's terrifying to see what we're looking at right now. Next up here, we have our Mimighoul duelist. And yes, 2 master is the correct ratio, alright? I do not like 3 at this point in time. It is way too clunky. You are running into some very, very inconsistencies by trying to push more of this. I also see we are playing 2 Mimighoul Maker. That's kind of cool. The backbone of this deck is the Kashtira package, 1 Unicorn, triple Fenrir. You are playing the 1 Birth in here, just basically to make sure, 1, you get the Unicorn and Fenrir control options to be able to interrupt and do what you need to do with your opponent. And number 2, free bodies on the field is always going to be a good thing. I do see we are playing the Ensemble Blue with the Nightingale here. The only thing I don't like is we're not actually playing a Fucho. In most of my testing, I found that the Fucho is an extremely good card. And it does help out a lot. I also see here, we have Double Dimensional Fissure down here. You don't give a crap about losing your monsters. Like, you do a little bit, but it's fine. And our last list here, hey look, full Fiendsmith combo. Sporting off the Azurune in here. This has become a pretty normal thing, I feel like, in here. Once again, you have the access code talker in the side deck. A lot of people now starting to choose to have the access code talker in the side deck. That, in itself, is very, very interesting. Once again, I'm curious to know, will this stick around? Or is this just kind of like a temporary meta trend that we're kind of experiencing here just with the details of this event? But we'll have to wait and see. So what do you guys think? Please leave a comment down below. Tell me what you guys think. And I'll see your beautiful faces back here later today, guys. Patrons, thank you.
Thank you so much for watching. Check out these other videos.